Hardware Hound here, guys, and we are at day 3 of CES, and you're probably wondering, how am I still on my feet and going and this excited to still be here? Well, it's kind of like plants. You know how they got that photosynthesis thing going on, and they take in sunlight and they grow and they green? Well, it's kind of the same way for me, except my photosynthesis comes from RGB lighting, and there is so much RGB lighting that it is just keeping me going and energized. So we are here at Corsair, and so they've got some pretty cool releases, and you know what I think about kind of mid-range, budget-friendly stuff. I love it. I love the fact that they keep an eye on us gamers who are like, wow, can't afford anything. And to that degree, we have some new cases. So we're talking about some very professional-looking, clean aesthetics and some silence. So for starters here, we've got an RGB case. Corsair has 3 of their RGB fans behind a shadow acrylic panel, which looks really great. Things like dust and smudges are not showing up really bad. Now, if we come in closer to this front panel, you can see here, I noticed we've got a really good, pretty darn strong cutout for airflow here, and then a kind of small one here, but I think the combination of the two is going to be pretty darn good for airflow. You can see here on the build, we have a PSU cover. We're going to have a solid black fan in the back there. But yeah, take a look at how this is glowing through. This is a shadow tinted tempered glass panel. And so what happens is when you turn your build on, you can see the lighting, it looks great. But if we come to this guy right here, when your computer's off, it just looks like one solid black clean tower. You can't see mess, you can't see cable clutter, you can't see anything except the actual components that are lit up. And so that's pretty cool. Kind of a minimalist design that shows off when you hit the power button. So then we've got a couple of new cases here, one new case and shown off twice. This is the Carbide Series 275Q. So those of you that love silence, we have sound reducing pads here on the panels. We've got a very professional, clean, minimalist design so that this case looks clean, you can build in it, and you can keep it really quiet and at a really reasonable price. So I believe we are looking at 2 cases that are going to be sub $100. So, and I'm not saying like 99, I mean like actually below that. So that's pretty darn good, really budget friendly. Now, one other thing I wanted to point out, because we got to recharge some of that RGB energy. So we got the Corsair 1 here. Some of us are like, hey, I'm going to build my own system. That's the way we are. But for those of you who are looking for something pre-built, something small, they've updated the Corsair 1. Of course, we've got like the 9900K. We've got liquid-cooled processor, liquid-cooled NVIDIA card, 2080 Ti, all in this small little package. A 980 gig NVMe drive plus a 2 terabyte hard drive for storage. It uses a convection cooling method where it pulls fresh air through the sides, expels it through the top with a fan, and then they added the RGB lighting to the strip here this year because, hey, we've got to have it. And actually, this isn't over the top. It looks really sharp. It's not too in your face, which is great. All right, let's move over here now. Talk a little bit about what's happening with Corsair's coolers here. So if we take a look here, you can see we have a white build and we have a white Hydro Series H100i RGB Platinum cooler in there, CPU cooler. So for those of you who love the white, you've got that option coming out that was announced here at CES. Now, let's go ahead now. Corsair's going to be focusing a little bit on accessories this year, and well, there's some pretty decent accessories that they're doing. So for starters, we have a PCI bridge cable. We've got the cutouts here. We've got it kind of ribboned and different, and you can see it. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but it does make this thing much easier to install, twist, and move in there. So that's very handy. And I've gotten to play around with one of these ribbon cables where it was just super unruly. So the fact that this is very easy to install and twist and move without breaking the cable is very nice. Corsair is also going to be upgrading and doing some custom sleeved cables. So they've got not a very stiff wiring, it's a little bit softer than usual, but that makes it very easy to manage and very easy to like put cable combs and stuff in there. So for those of you who like custom sleeved cables and don't want to like kill your fingers trying to build everything, these are going to be great. They're going to be pretty easy to manage, and they're going to have a pretty decent PSU compatibility. It looks like they're going to be able to be with certain Seasonic. Of course, Corsair PSUs are going to be compatible with these. So if you want to upgrade and give those cables a clean look, we've got these black ones here, but we can see. We can just look right here. We've got like some white and black. We've got some blue and black. So there's some options here to really make that PC build shine by getting rid of those old, kind of not so nice and clean looking cables that most PSUs come with. Corsair also thought of a really awesome accessory, and it's one of those things that it may not sound like a big deal, but for people who have to deal with this is like huge to them. They have front panel extension cables in white. So if you've ever built a white build, you've had your USB 3.0, you've had your USB 2.0, you've had your power, you've had your reset buttons, and they're all black. And you're thinking, that looks ugly. So you're trying to tuck them away. Well, now if you want to match your white motherboard, your white case, and all that, you can get these little extensions, make it look clean, hide all the black in the cable management area. It's a tiny thing, but it is an awesome, awesome customization feature for those who need that. So, and on the flip side, Corsair now has their own thermal paste. I'm really curious about it. I'd love to put some numbers on it and see how it performs. All right, guys, there's a couple more things we're going to do. So one's the power supplies. So Corsair had their AX series in like the really high 1600 watts last year. They've done some toned down power versions for like us regular gamer systems. So we have an 850 and 1000. But Corsair also has the smallest and most powerful watt per, cubic inch or cubic liter. They've got the most powerful power supply in this small form factor. So we've actually run across a couple of these that were 700 watts and gold rated. But Corsair, they have a 750 watt right here. I'm looking at this label, and I'm trying to see if I can see that rating. Wait a minute, if I come over here, this guy is platinum certified. That's what I was wondering, because I'm seeing this gray label, and yes, we're talking 750 watts, platinum rating in this little tiny packet, and it also has a complete fan off mode when the temperature is not above 50 degrees. So if your computer's on idle and you're not running too crazy of a build like Threadripper and SLI, then this guy will have an actual fan off mode. And I wanted to show this to you guys. Look at how all this stuff is just jam-packed in there. Like, look at all that. I don't think I want to touch that. I don't want to give myself a jolt. That might wake me up a little bit. But no, that's just crazy how they're able to jam all those capacitors and resistors and coils in this little tiny package. Pretty awesome. All right, guys, let's go with one more thing. So right here behind us, we have some new RGB RAM from Corsair. Now you might be thinking, okay, that's new, but what's the big deal? Corsair has a thing there that they're calling True Color. And so let's take a look at this guy right here. This is a typical LED strip, right? The typical way that we light anything, whether it is an RGB strip, RAM modules, keyboards, RGB mice, whatever. You have these individual LED lights, one RGB LED, and then each one of those has to do lighting. Corsair has something new coming up. This guy right here. If you look at this square right there, each one of those little dots is an LED light. Every single one of them. What is going on here? Well, those LED lights, because there's a bunch of them like that, they kind of not only give a brighter and kind of more vibrant color to the lighting, but they're also way more power efficient. They don't use as much power as this strip. So when we come here to this RAM kit, you can see these guys are running an RGB spectrum, and you can see that this is using 70 milliamps for the RGB lighting, where a normal kit would be using like 150 mil. So that's like what, 50% power savings? But take a look at this little square pad here. So that's what it looks like when it's lighted up on that pad. And so what I was noticing is like purple was looking way deeper than usual on RGB, which was awesome. And it's also addressable. So you can see right there that each little light you can address and do patterns and do different colors and stuff depending on how much the software is able to control it. Or you can do a full color to the pad. Look at that. More addressable. And then full solid color. So that is really cool. Guys, this has some serious future potential too. Right now, Corsair's only got it in the Dominator series RAM kits. But that power efficiency, I mean, when you're talking about things that run battery operated, so you have a wireless gaming mouse and keyboard, it's going to really help that energy efficiency. Gaming laptops that have RGB keypads and stuff, that could really help save some battery life on those gaming notebooks and stuff. So this has got some huge future potential, and even then, just in the RAM kits, looks really great. So Corsair's got a lot of things that are going on. Of course, they've got peripherals, they've got some other stuff that is really cool, but in general, it gets really hard to take care of everything. So I'm going to be doing updates on my in my website, hwhound.com. We will add some extras to the press releases there and highlight some more stuff too. So don't forget to check out my website and link in the description below. But yeah, first visit of day 3 CES. We are wrapping up. I'm going to catch you soon.